is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are Florida.
The fun continued in D.C. yesterday. Giancarlo left the yard. Jose Fernandez sparkled on the mound and at the plate. Scene shift, copy Mick, cheesesteaks. Love from a brother. 3 big ones in Philly. And Adam Conley takes the first shot at the Fightins. Marlins and Phillies in Philly tonight. Philadelphia. First time the Fish have been here in 2016, and the Marlins and the Phillies right now have been playing good baseball. The Phillies, a little more of a surprise than the Fish. Look at the East. 4 teams, all stacked up. Nationals, Mets, Phillies, and Fish. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz joined by Al Leiter.
Hello.
Welcome back. This will be a real good barometer for the Fish and for the Phils when this 3-gamer is done.
First of all, I wish we'd pull that up again, because did anybody in baseball who watches this to think that the Philadelphia Phillies would be, 6 games over 500? What a remarkable start of the season. In my opinion, really the story of the National League. I guess the White Sox, you could say, in the American League, they've done it with pitching, and they've done it with a good bullpen and really good defense.
The story of the Marlins, if you tell it from the start of the season to this point, you have to include Adam Conley in there. The lefty's been impressive.
I like him a lot, Rich. Every time that I watch him pitch, I think that there's another little nugget, and there's some little other surprise that's opening up to a young kid that I think is just going to be a terrific big league pitcher. This a couple starts ago. Remember, no-hitter into the 8th inning, had 116 pitches. Donnie Baseball took him out. Nasty. When he has the fastball away, and I love his slinging. I mentioned the White Sox. To me, he looks like a Chris Sale light, if you will. His fastball, slider, change-up combination here against Arizona, pitched in the 6th inning, 2 hits, no runs. I like this kid a lot. I think he's a special pitcher and going to be a front-end starter.
First look for the Fish at Jared Eichhoff, a right-hander that came over from the San Francisco Giants. Phillies are awful high on him. It's a 3-gamer. And I know it's May, but there's a lot at stake for the Fish and the Phils. And a first pitch is coming up. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica, by the Florida Department of Transportation, reminding you, drive sober or get pulled over, by your local Toyota dealers, let's go places, and by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. In Philly, Citizens Bank Park, the Fish in town, first of 3 on this Monday night. Miami's lineup, the Fish coming at 20-17, 3 games over. It's brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine. Derek Dietrich in the leadoff spot. Martin Prado's at third. Christian Yelich in left. Giancarlo Stanton, who homered yesterday, in right field. Justin Bour homered in D.C. Marcell Ozuna just keeps hitting. Longest hit streak in the National League. JT Realmuto still hot at 314. Marlins would love to see Adeiny Hechavarria get going, but look at his numbers here. That means maybe a good 3 days for him. And the Fish get their first look at Jerad Eickhoff. Al, what are we going to see from him?
You know, Jerad Eickhoff is a guy, good curveball, but interesting enough, the lefties have just peppered him so far early this part of the season at 370, 337 clip at 172. And I say that because right-handed batters are going to see a good curveball slider combination. Does fall in love with a little bit. He's not going to overpower these Marlin hitters. He's right at about that 90-91 mark. He's a guy that has to be on with his control, like a lot of big league pitchers, but he's not going to blow away these Marlin hitters.
Pete Buchanan's defense looks like this. Southwest Airlines brings it to you. Tyler Goodell in left, Odubel Herrera in center, Peter Bourjos in right. Tommy Joseph up, and he's at first base. Cesar Hernandez, Freddie Galvis up the middle. Macao Franco is at third base, and Carlos Ruiz is behind the plates. Ready to go, Marlins and Phils. Now, the Marlins and Phils met a week and a half ago. The Marlins won the opener, and then the Marlins bullpen coughed up 2 8th-inning leads. The Phillies took that series 2-1. Dietrich, fastball from Eickhoff, is out, or so says Andy Fletcher, who's calling balls and strikes. Toby Basner, Mark Ripperger, and Joe West, ladies and gentlemen, at third base. And that changeup misses down low from Eickhoff, and it's 2-0. There he is, Country Joe West. Friend to you and me.
Had many some run-ins with old Cowboy Joe.
That's right. Well, it's Monday. We can start sarcasm right away. Fastball is a strike outside corner, and Eickhoff with a count at 2-1.
Well, Rich, you mentioned about the 1-2 record that the Marlins did against the Phillies. If they're going to make this interesting, you know, you can't go 0-3 against the Braves, and you got to beat the Phillies. And I know it's early. Here we are mid-May. Although we're getting some, you know, there's games under their belt. There's no question about it. Here are the Marlins sitting at 20-17, 3 games over 500. But you have a chance, and I mean it, as I said in the open. The Phillies, to me, are the National League story of baseball. It's been a terrific story. Most people thought, how close would they get to 100 losses?
Dietrich drives that one to center. Odubel Herrera back, now in, and he makes the catch. There's one out here in the first. Martin Prado, Christian Yelich will follow. There, for the last 2.5 to 3 weeks, there have been a lot of Marlins that have been hot up and down the order. Maybe none more than Martin Prado, who kicked his average up over 400 for a time and has been sitting up top near the top or at the top of the National League hitting charts. Barry Bonds, Frank Menechino have done wonderful work so far. Prado into the bat, flips it right center. Herrera charges, and it gets between them. Prado on his way to second. The throw's coming in. He's in trouble. He is out, says Joe West. I don't think the ball rolled as much as Prado thought it was going to.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, Rich. Off the end of the bat, breaks his bat. Surprising there. I thought Bourjos should have had a play on it. I don't know whether the sun plays into it. Let's take a look at the replay here. See, off the end of the bat, he breaks his bat. Coming in now, Herrera kind of maybe his aggressiveness going toward the ball. Peter Bourjos kind of checked up. You see right there when Prado is aware that once that ball hits, just hold up, pull up anchor. Nice play by Galvis to get him.
The throw from Odubel Herrera, so it's 8-6 on the putout, and it's a base hit for Prado. And here is Yelich. Christian Yelich, still top 10 in on-base percentage, checks in at .420. Swings and misses a breaking ball. Yelich an 0 for 4 yesterday. Three hits, including a home run in Washington, D.C., and that home run was against Steven Strasburg on Saturday afternoon. Eickhoff buries a breaking ball. And it's 1-2. Giancarlo Stanton on deck.
You know, every time that, get around Frankie Menechino or Barry Bonds are just dominatingly, they marvel, Rich, at this young man's talent and how it's just scratching the surface of somebody as good as Christian Yelich, who's line to line, has power.
Good live fastball, 94 with some sink. And the Marlins are down in order in the first. Park, Marlins and Phillies. And here come the Fightins, brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine. Odubel Herrera, Cesar Hernandez, Michael Franco, Carlos Ruiz, Tommy Joseph's at first base, Freddie Galvis at short, Tyler Goodell's in left. Jared Eickhoff, the pitcher's going to hit 8th, and Peter Borges, who's in the 9th spot and in right field. First look for the Phils at Adam Conley.
There you go, Adam Conley, coming off not such a great start, but he's had a couple before that against the Brewers and Arizona. He's better against right-handed batters than he is lefties, which is interesting. You'd think he would dominate against lefties.
Conley's first pitch misses out at 91 miles an hour.
To the tune, Rich, of lefties are batting .370. When I saw that, I said, could that be a typo? 189 batting average right-handers.
Here is Herrera, who fouls it back. If you're looking for one of the most improved players in Major League Baseball, you're looking at him. I mean, Odubel Herrera, who was a Rule 5 pick and a middle infielder, arrived in Philadelphia last year, and the Phillies said, we're going to play you and you're going to play center field. And boy, they seem to really have done their homework, plucked him out of the Texas Rangers organization. His on-base percentage is off the charts, and he didn't walk a whole lot last year. Lifts it in the air, and Ozuna ventures in and makes the catch. You want defense tonight, Al? I give you the defense tonight. Go for it.
Pitching and defense, you got it. Let's see what we got here. We got Yelich out in left, roaming center field, Marcell Ozuna. Giancarlo Stanton, right field, Prado, Echeverria. Derek Dietrich played a nice second base. Justin Bour first. JT Realmuto and Adam Conley on the mound.
Cesar Hernandez now shortens to bunt, takes out. The Phillies have been terrific in close ball games this year. If you're looking for one of the reasons the Phillies are where they are, that's banged in a right field, the base hit. Stanton to cut it off, has it, and he holds Hernandez to a single. 14-3 in one-run games are these Phils.
Well, interesting enough when you say that, their bullpen's doing it. They're not scoring a whole lot of runs, and when it comes to mixing and matching, getting it done, Pete Mackanin, the manager for the Phillies, you see him as a fourth season manager. That's not all with the Phillies.
No, he was interim in Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. And of course, he took over midseason last year when Ryan Sandberg resigned. Here is Franco, young Philly third baseman. Conley gets a strike. Franco doesn't look too pleased, and it's 0-1. Why was he displeased? Look where that first pitch missed.
Oh.
On Fox Tracks.
Just a little bit out there, Rich.
See, this
Strike!
is a good contrast between
Preston
Wilson.
It's close enough.
It is close enough. But not only, I mean, one-run games, 14-3, 4-0 in extra innings as well. Runner goes, bouncer to short. Echeverria backhands across the diamond in time. And the Phils now with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. And that brings up Chooch, Carlos Ruiz.
Yeah, just leaving a play like that. Looks kind of benign. A few steps to the right, Echeverria. But to get his feet underneath him, be calm, patient, and bullet right over the top.
Now, Ruiz is in the cleanup spot, and this is a spot where the Marlins saw some of Cameron Rupp. Rupp was involved in that great finish the other night with the Cincinnati Reds, the collision at the plate, the throw by Tyler Goeddel for the last out. Rupp took the brunt of the hit from Eugenio Suarez.
Oh, yes.
And held on to the baseball, and the Phillies won the game. And Rupp was in the cleanup spot when the Marlins saw the Phils down in Miami. He's still recuperating a bit.
Get him good? Was it?
It was as good a collision as we've seen since they changed the catcher rules, the collision rules at home plate.
Which you don't see any now.
No. No, it was. If you were having turn back the clock day, that would have been a perfect ending to it. 0-2, Conley to Ruiz. And it's in the dirt. All right, you want old school. Here you go. Now this is the tying runs at third base. In the 9th, Goeddel lines it up, and watch this collision. Ooh. And he held it. And it's legal because he had to go into the baseline to get the throw. A swing and a miss, or did he get a piece?
Yeah. Foul ball.
He did. It's a tip, and he's still alive.
You know, I would think at some point that the let's see, a little foul tip there. Ooh, Realmuto almost had it. That there's some trepidation and uncertainty with runners, right? Having to elude not a collision and trying to elude the tag.
Oh, without question. Chooch to center. And Ozuna's there to make the catch, and Adam Conley navigates a first inning single. Scoreless in Philly. Yesterday in Washington, D.C., this scary moment in right field. Giancarlo Stanton hitting the fence and Marcell Ozuna hitting his head on the warning track. And that certainly brought a chill to every Marlin fan's skin. Don Mattingly raced out there. The ball sat between them. And Ryan Zimmerman had an inside the park home run. When they both got back up, they stayed in the ball game, and not only did they stay in the ball game, but they proved that they were just fine. Stanton would homer in that 6th inning, and Ozuna would hit a bullet right back up the middle as the Marlins rallied and put away the Nationals 5-1. And a swing and a miss. It was a collision in right center field, and in talking to Barry Bonds, I brought up as a youngster the collision I remember from San Francisco. It's one of the more famous catches for Willie Mays. He and Bonds' father, Bobby Bonds, collided in right center field up against a cyclone fence in Candlestick. Just a violent collision. And Barry said, yeah, the only difference is Willie Mays caught the ball and didn't drop it. Stanton on a breaking ball puts it up in the air. The shift was on, and this is an interesting look. Galvis had to come from the line out to where he usually would be. And Goodell bails him out by making the catch. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock. Good evening, Jessica.
Good evening, Rich. Earlier today, Giancarlo Stanton had a chance to watch the video of that collision. Here's what he had to say about it.
Well, it's weird, like seeing it from the outside view and being in it. You don't realize your body can move like that without your control and stuff. But I had way more of a whiplash than I thought. I kind of thought I hit it more direct and on the side.
Luckily, both players said they felt fine today. Marcell Ozuna had a little bit of a headache last night, but other than that, he is okay. That is good news for the Marlins. Yeah,
Jessica, Stanton also added that the feeling this morning was like a Saturday morning in high school after one of his football games. He, of course, was a terrific wide receiver, believe it or not, at 6'5", 240. And corner.
Corner?
Yeah.
Cornerback. Good thing it was a chain link fence.
Wow, a bullet. And Bohr almost took the glove of Tommy Joseph right off. Can't hit it much harder than that.
Wow. I know they got the StatCast and all the velos on these balls. I want to see that. Rich, that ball was smoked. Just right at Tommy Joseph. Nice play.
107 miles an hour.
Oh, they have it right away. Look at that.
They do. Stick with me, Al.
No kid. I thought they had to compute and get algorithms and physics.
No.
Trigonometry.
MLB at-bat app. It's got it on there.
All right.
Here's Ozuna now. And, of course, Marcell Ozuna, the longest hit streak in the National League. At 15 games. It's also the longest of the year in the National League. Ozuna cracks one, left field and deep and gone. Man, that's 15 rows up. And Marcell Ozuna extends his streak and gives the Fish a 1-0 lead on a 2-0 pitch. Ozuna's 7th of the season.
Give me the velocity on that. What was that?
I'm going exit velocity there. I'm at an estimate 106.
That was impressive. 2-0 fastball. Love the way Ozuna, especially in batting practice, goes the other way. He's got a 2-0 hitter. Watch this, folks. Right down the middle, turns on it. What did you say it was? 206?
No, 111 miles an hour, 447 feet, the early return.
Wow. Impressive.
So that's a home run in any ballpark.
He is locked in
Major League Baseball. So Ozuna now at 16 games. Barry Bonds is having to order more bats because when he started the streak, he started to use some of Bonds' model bats, the bats that Bonds actually had in reserve. just in case, you know.
But I heard that story. Rich, can't anybody order the model of whoever?
Right, but I mean,
He's actually getting Barry's bat.
yeah, and that's what Don Mattingly said. He said you'd think that he could just order the same model, but if it's got Bond's name on it, and it works, why fight it?
No, I'm not fighting it. But you know, as a matter of fact, isn't the I know the Louisville Slugger bat, the M110. I could be wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway. It was Mattingly's model, and there's M110s all around baseball.
Right. Well, I mean, in the 70s, every kid, late 60s, 70s, everybody wanted a Mickey Mantle model bat.
What was it?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't that. I didn't start swinging it that early. Fastball and Real Muto swings and misses. But I'll tell you what, if it works, they might as well just keep ordering them, because Ozuna.
Are you kidding? If it works, I'd order 100 bats. Let everybody use them. Bat company.
Just put Bond's name on everything.
Put him on everything. I'm going to fill up the bat rack tomorrow. Well, you know what? This game is mental, and for a hitter, it's about failure, right? You fail 7 out of 10 times, and you're fantastic. Ozuna's locked in right now.
And Real Muto is as well. JT walks, and it gets Echeverria up. Jared Eichhoff is a 25-year-old, and he went to the rival high school of Don Mattingly in Evansville. AutoNation brings you the scouting report. What else you got on him?
Well, let's see. Fond Miami memories. He loves Miami. Thumb scare. Well, he's had an issue with his thumb, and he's back pitching.
That thumb he broke when trying to bunt in February, spring training.
And that was a scare.
Yes. Well, the good news was it was better by early March, and he was back into spring training. Echeverria takes breaking ball out. This is a guy that the Marlins would love to get going, Danny Echeverria. They felt, and I think Echeverria would tell you, he had a nice breakthrough last year. Got his average up into the 280s. Was over 300 at this point last year. But for whatever reason, it hasn't happened this season, and Ruiz is out to talk to Eichhoff. He's gone 2-0 on Echeverria. Marcell Ozuna is 7th, a solo shot, and a 1-0 Miami lead.
You know, you mentioned about Echeverria and the year that he had last year, Rich, and this is a kid that certain guys feel as though they can work their way out of it and figure it out. And Echeverria's got his routine, he's got his process.
He drives it right center field, hits it pretty well. Borges has room, and he makes the catch. Marlins will settle for a run on a 447-foot homer off the bat of Marcell Ozuna. 3-game series with a bang. And Marcell Ozuna, right now the hottest hitter in the National League. 16-game streak and ties his career high. And look at the damage he's done on that run. And what's impressive, Al, is the amount of discipline, the number of walks, all of those things are trending much better for Ozuna this year. And you have to think that has something to do with his success at the plate as Tommy Joseph stands in for the Phils. No Ryan Howard against the left-hander Conley. And so Joseph, who was a catcher, came over in the Hunter Pence trade. Howard getting the night off initially. They're looking for a spot to put his bat. This is a guy that went through a couple of concussions in the minor leagues, which derailed a couple of seasons and kind of delayed his arrival here. But they feel they can get him some at-bats at first base. And he fouls that one back and out of play. Because in talking to Pete Mackanin, he's certainly aware that the Phillies have had a great start and that they've been playing extremely well. The close games, an indication of that. They're 14-3, but he also knows that the Phillies are going to have to start to score a few more runs to sustain this. And as Ozuna is there and he makes the catch. You can join the Fish family today by getting a season ticket to Marlins baseball. They start at just $6 a game. You got half-season plans and 3 great 20-game mini plans as well, and it gets you into the loyalty program of Marlin fans. 2017 All-Star Game access as well, and of course is coming to Marlins Park. Freddie Galvis fouls a pitch back.
Well, it's interesting that you say that. I'm talking to Pete Mackanin, the manager, that here they are last in the National League in runs. This has been a terrific surprise baseball story, and they're still in rebuild mode. There's no doubt about it. This is their plan. Eddie McPhail's been brought in to kind of help rebuild a great franchise, a great stadium, unbelievable fan base, to bring them back. So this surprise, Rich, is, where do they go? What if they continue to do well? Are they a buyer? Do they keep rebuilding? Do they bring up their prospects?
Toyota's inside look on the Phillies. This is the comparison now from 2015 to 2016.
I mean, the most discernible difference, obviously, is the 3.88 to the 4.22. If you're going to get good pitching, good starting pitching, you mentioned about the one-run games. Their bullpen they're nailing it down. There's been some good stories out there. Jenmar Gomez has done a nice job closing. Hector Neris, I mean, this guy's been almost unhittable. Right-handed setup guy. But they're still in rebuild mode. And as exciting as this is for this fan base, I can't imagine that they're going to go and add money guys.
Well, this is a good example. Here is another Rule 5 pick. Goodell, the Rule 5 pick this year. Odubel Herrera was the Rule 5 pick last year, and that certainly has paid off. And so when you're in rebuild mode, you can afford to give at bats to Goodell and keep him on your roster for the full season and see if something develops.
Looking at the pitcher tonight, right? One of the principal young prospects in the Cole Hamels trade. Vince Velasquez. What an unbelievable start he's had as a Houston Astro prospect.
Up the middle into center field, and Goodell has himself a base hit.
And we'll see Velasquez. He was traded for Ken Giles, the closer that was here in Philly now with Houston.
Yeah, now serving as the 8th inning guy in Houston. So that's into center field. And here comes the pitcher, Jerad Eickhoff. Pete Mackanin, for a couple of reasons, has Eickhoff in the 8th spot. He always, as a bench coach, and he's been a bench coach in many places, and also as a manager, saw that some managers would do that And one thing he said that makes it work is he's got a guy like Borges, who is fast and really isn't a threat as far as power, is really a secondary leadoff man. And he'd rather have Borges behind the pitcher because he can't run if he gets on in front of the pitcher.
But you know, it sounds ingenious, right? But they've been playing this for what, 130 years, baseball?
Right.
Like, why now? Why isn't everybody doing that? It sounds like a good idea, right? You got two leadoff guys, bat about 1 9th and 1 1st, and throw your pitcher 8th.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with personnel. Who do you have that would hit 9th and be that secondary leadoff guy? And he drops one into center field. Eichhoff has a hit.
Or a pitcher who's batting 231.
Right.
Which is like 400
in pitcher speak.
Yes. Watch this little jam shot here. Conley trying to come in, cuts it. That's a nice piece of hitting right there. I mean, that's jam sandwich. Instead, he's got a little 30 love, base hit up the middle.
So here's Borges. You know, when the St. Louis Cardinals did it, one of the factors that went into Tony La Russa's thinking was he wanted Albert Pujols in the 3 spot. There's a shot to right, and it got him more at bats with runners in scoring position. Ozuna makes the catch. 1-0 Miami up in Philly. The presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. In Philadelphia, everything Fanatic. Where else would you find a Fanatic hat on a guy wearing a hot dog suit? This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Al Leiter and the Miami Marlins. Some Marlin fans here. Chicky and Pete's. If you want a good kick in the ribs.
Oh, nice.
The Chicky and Pete crab fries are good out there.
How about Atlantic City hot dog and the Fanatic? No?
Well, I mean, look, it's cheesesteaks here. Tony Lukes is out in left center field. Stanton hit a home run to Tony Lukes a couple years ago. Guy standing in line for a cheesesteak got a home run ball. Landed right next to him. It's only about 480 feet, but
he hit it up on the concourse.
Oh yeah. Stick with us. You'll see stuff you haven't seen. He hit a 490 footer a couple weeks ago. Conley swings and misses. Derek Dietrich, Martin Prado will follow against Jared Eichhoff. If you're just happening by, the Marlins have a Marcell Ozuna home run that went 447 feet. Conley swings and misses. All right, I need to finish the story about the hitter, the pitcher in the 8 spot.
As we just saw Conley strike out.
Yes,
All right.
and I got this from Eduardo Perez, who was on that Cardinal team. The guy that planted the seed in Tony La Russa's head to think about moving the pitcher to the 8 spot was none other than his good friend Bobby Knight.
Really, a basketball guy?
Yes.
All right.
Brought it up. The more La Russa thought of it, the more he thought it might be a fun idea. And then obviously the Pujols situation, him hitting in the 3 spot, and the reasoning went, most starting pitchers only get 2 at-bats a game. So you're going to be putting a pinch hitter in that spot anyways.
So as I posed the question to you last inning, why doesn't everybody do that?
I don't know. I think it depends. If you've got to have the right guy to hit 9th. Okay. Dietrich chops it. Joseph flips, and Eichhoff gets to the bag.
Well, I mean, so you flip-flop. Echeverria bats 9th. Conley bats 8th. Now that makes Real Muto the 7th hitter, kind of like the 8th hitter, because the pitcher is now batting 8th. So that makes that a tougher bet.
Well, look, one day when you're managing, you can pull the levers.
No, I like that stuff, right? I mean, we're in the age of shifting.
Absolutely.
Sabermetrics, and yeah.
Here's Prado, who sent one into right center for a hit, and when it got between Odubel Herrera and Peter Borges, he tried to stretch it to a double and was thrown out at second.
All right, and I'll be done with it.
Okay.
But the other factor is that you have to have a pitcher who can handle the bat a little bit. Can't be an absolute awful hitting pitcher. Because there will be opportunities based on your 6-7 hitter or even 5-6-7 for the pitcher to be in spots to drive a run in.
Agreed. Don Mattingly looking out at the mound saying, I know this guy, and he does. They both hail from Evansville, Indiana. Prado sends another one into center field. 2 more hits from Martin Prado. And they went to rival high schools, did Jared Eichhoff and Don Mattingly. Mattingly went to Memorial, and Eichhoff went to Mater Dei in Evansville. They met at a charity event in town. And so Mattingly says, yeah, I know him.
Just about 30 years ago, I played against his team.
Here's Yelich now with Prado at first. That approach, that swing by Prado, it certainly is a great snapshot of what has made him successful over the last 4 or 5 months of baseball and throughout his career. He said he got away from it as Yelich takes outside. But if you go back and you watch Prado swing, he stays inside the ball, uncomplicated, stays middle. He hasn't homered this year, but it doesn't bother him. Because he said last year at Marlins Park, he really was trying to pull the ball because he thought that's the only way he could homer was to pull it down the line. And he said once he got to thinking about that, his whole swing was off. And look at this. You go back to June of last year, the top 5 hitters in the National League from late June last year, Odubel Herrera, Christian Yelich, and look at Prado at 329. That's a shot in the gap, right center field. Prado headed for third. It's cut off by Herrera. Yelich isn't stopping, on his way to second, in there with a double. Christian Yelich with a cannon shot for a double.
Well, that's a double right out of the box. And love it, Christian Yelich. 11th double on the season. Soon as he hits this, he cut the upright in right center field. Herrera, Borges going after it. He has that kind of speed. He has to think double out of the box. See Prado easily getting to third base. Nice aggressive base running by Christian Yelich to get to second base.
For Yelich now, 11 doubles. And here is Stanton, who popped out to shortstop. We've said before that for Giancarlo Stanton, there can be peaks and there can be valleys. He certainly had a valley at the very start of the year and then peaked on that West Coast road trip and then back into the homestand. He seems to be in somewhat of a valley with little bits and pieces of surfacing up for a hit. And he homered yesterday. Not one of Stanton's normal shots, you know, a blast to center or left at 430 feet. This was the home run yesterday.
Stayed on this ball right here. Looked like a little sinker that was up in the zone. Stanton so strong. Watching him hit batting practice. The ball off the bat, it looks different. It sounds different. It's such explosiveness to his swing that he gets a lot more carrying distance than most guys.
7 of 11 home runs on the road.
I think, Rich, you know, just watching Stanton is, you know, how impatient will he get? Because he's still the man. I mean, the damage guy in this lineup. To swing at pitches that he can hit and drive that are strikes and not balls.
Swing and a miss there. Well, what's more important, the guy behind him or the guy in front of him? Because Dusty Baker is wrestling with that answer right now in Washington.
I think right now it depends on if your offense is anemic, the guy behind him is more important than in front of Stanton. But that's not the case right now with the Marlins. There's a lot of hits going around this lineup.
Stanton swings and misses. Sharp breaking ball from Eickhoff gets him. And the Fish lead 2 in the third. 1-0 Miami. In Philly, bottom of the third. Our Quicken Loans our Rocket Mortgage Rocket Arm. Jose Fernandez, National League Player of the Week. And look at the numbers he put up in the wins over Milwaukee and Washington. Jose 2-0, an 0.64 ERA, 22 punch-outs, 14 innings. Our Rocket Arm of the week. And of course a 2-run single yesterday added up in a 5-1 win. Adam Conley getting the top of the order. As Odubel Herrera stands in, we check in with Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Yeah, guys, Jose Fernandez said he found out about being named the NL Player of the Week early this morning, and the first thing that he did was thank JT Realmuto. He felt like Realmuto had a big part in yesterday's result, and he wanted to make sure that he got credit. Today also marks 2 years to the day since Jose Fernandez had Tommy John surgery. So this morning, he also called all of his doctors to say thank you. He feels like they're the reason he is playing the game that he loves. How about the timing, guys, on all of that?
It's eerie. And now, Al, you've been able to watch some of his starts. His last 2 starts are exactly what Juan Nieves wanted in spring training. He wanted more fastballs, secondary stuff later in the game. He wanted him to get to 100 pitches in the 7th inning, not necessarily in the 5th. And it's all happening right now.
Yeah. You know what? I think when I look at Fernandez, here's a guy that I know he knows he's good, but Rich, there's moments, especially as a young pitcher, that you think you have to do more, even with exceptional stuff. And as you're just describing with Juan Nieves, just look, you don't have to try to strike a guy out on strike 1. And I think that's what we've seen. You know, Marlin fans and baseball fans watched Jose Fernandez pitch. It looks like he's trying to strike everybody out with max effort on every pitch. Not necessary. It's very taxing. And as you mentioned, it's more fastballs, get in the count, and then get to your slider. He threw curveballs. I don't know whether it was just sliders that he took a little bit off, but he threw more curveballs in his last start, which I'd like to see. 3 secondary pitches with his slider, curveball, and change.
All right, take a look and give us a narrative of what you saw from yesterday.
You know what? I'm just watching this here. A slider down the way. You got a backdoor slider again. You got most of his breaking balls he will get to either slider or curveball, and that's that swing and miss, that lazy little swing. Oh, by the way, Rip, I guarantee he's talking more about that than he is his 22 punch-outs in his last 2 starts. I think he's realizing it. He's very affable. Look at this. I mean, fun. Has a great time. Good for him. But don't try to make your max effort strikeout pitch every time. And that's something that he'll learn.
Well, as Franco stands in, you go back to yesterday, and certainly that was the case. He wasn't max effort early. He saved a lot for the end. And he struck out 11 guys.
Which even is more remarkable. When you actually are trying to take your foot off the gas pedal, you become actually a better pitcher. I mentioned about in his last game, he threw slider, curveball, and changeup. By the way, a couple good changeups right there.
Yeah, speaking of good, how about Adam Conley going 1-2-3 through the Phils in the 3rd. 1-0 Miami. A Marcell Ozuna home run is the only run tonight. We talked about email and Twitter Tuesday. It's driven by your South Florida Ford dealers. The hashtag tomorrow night will be NL East. Al Leiter will be here tomorrow night, so we'll take your tweets, your emails, answer your questions. We'll make you a part of the game, just like the Fanatic is here in Philly. Everybody loves. You've had a Fanatic hug, right?
I've had a Fanatic hug. He's good.
Yes.
Green
and sweaty.
Yeah.
Here's Bohr, who blistered a liner right into the glove of first baseman Tommy Joseph. That was back in the 2nd. Bohr's home run in D.C. was just to the left field side of center. About a 415-foot smash. Our baseball historian tonight is the infamous Ed Svita, who points out that the Fanatic smells better in May than he usually does in August.
Makes sense, yeah.
You always love it when he grabs someone's hat and rubs it under his arm like that. Two-two. Bohr hooks it down the first baseline, foul. We were talking on Marlins Live about Miami's improved strikeout numbers, walk numbers, two-strike hitting numbers. Breaking ball and a check swing. Started play tonight in the National League. Miami is second in batting average, and Miami's on base percentage at .335 has them in the upper third. Only 277 strikeouts. San Francisco is the only team that has struck out less. There's a look at the fewest in the National League. Bohr's tapper, and Eickhoff was able to cut it off and get the out, and that brings up Ozuna.
Yeah, and they're about mid-pack in walks, so you know the second least strikeouts. Giants have had less. Watch a little change-up right here by Eickhoff, getting that ball, making an easy play. And then walks, Rich, they're 11th in the National League with 110. And they're good, have been of late, good two-out hitting.
And I think the poster child for all of that is this guy, Marcell Ozuna, and the work that he did in the spring with Barry Bonds and Frank Menechino. And it all started really in the offseason when Bonds and Mattingly, in talking to Marlins brass, begged them not to trade Marcell Ozuna. They really liked what they saw, felt they could help him, and it has turned into a rather prescient decision. You look back to last year, he walked only 30 times in 494 at bats. He has 10 walks right now. Fastball for a strike, and this is the homer in the second inning. There was no doubt a Bonds bat and a 447-foot homer. And he fouls it at the plate. On base percentage for Ozuna last year was just .308. He's at .358 this year.
Well, good thing, right? I mean, if other teams knew what Ozuna's talent was, they would obviously want to buy low. And so far, thankfully, the Marlins didn't do it.
That one to left. Did he hit Carlos Ruiz?
Yep, in the backswing.
Did you hear the sound on the backswing? It sounded like his bat clipped Ruiz, who gives a thumbs up. Ozuna stops to see if he's all right. Watch this. It did just glanced off the top of the helmet.
Oh,
ouch. JT Realmuto now. That's a guy that's endured a lot in his career here in Philadelphia. Carlos Ruiz.
Consistent, right? I mean, he was the backbone for years. You know, as he getting a little older now, Ruiz has done a nice job. I know his throwing arm isn't the same as it was, but handles the staff. Good for these young pitchers coming up.
Pitch down low. I just envision in about 20 years when they have a reunion of the world champions, all the great Phillies come out. Ruiz will get one of the loudest ovations. The Chooch chant.
Yeah.
And the warmest greetings will probably come from Halladay and Moyer and Lee, Blanton.
Joe Blanton.
Ryan Howard certainly will be greeted warmly. Chase Utley.
Jimmy Rollins.
Jimmy Rollins. But I'm telling you, I think Chooch gets a warm one as well. That's a shot to left. Goodell is right there. A 1-2-3 inning for Jerad Eickhoff. Marlins up 1-0. Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica, by Checkers, fast foodies know the deal, and by your South Florida BMW centers. When we send our camera people out to get shots of the ballpark, they always seem to end up in front of a big thing of cheesesteaks. Food. This is one of the great food ballparks in all of baseball.
Does the Bull still have his thing out here?
Yes.
Yep.
Bull's Barbecue.
Bull's Barbecue.
Out in right center.
Greg Luzinski.
Yes, and he's out there. The last few years, and we would go out there, and he's the guy that's got the apron on, the smoke all over. It's great.
He's cooking.
Yeah. Just don't go out there because he'll look at you and he'll want to take a few cuts. Carlos Ruiz leading it off for the Phils. Tommy Joseph and Freddie Galvis. And Adam Conley with his first walk. He's given up 3 singles, a leadoff walk, and here is Tommy Joseph, who is wearing the Bulls number as he comes to the plate. And if the Bulls barbecuing and he can't catch the game on TV, he can stream it live on his mobile device with the new Fox Sports Go app. You can too. Download the app, take Fox Sports Florida and the Marlins wherever you go. Ruiz not a threat to run. Conley to the plate. And a strike. Pretty good crowd for a Monday here in Philly. I think the fans here have kind of embraced this team. They, over the last couple of years, have watched the decline of the Phillies. A last place finish last year, worst record in the National League. Here's a 1-1. Joseph drives it to center, and Ozuna is there, and he makes the catch. But light at the end of the tunnel, many feel, is coming a lot faster than many expected. Now, a long way to go, and as you look at the standings in the National League East, 4 teams within 2.5 games of each other. And that's a lot of fun right now with the Nationals, the Phillies, the Mets, and the Marlins. And this is an opportunity for the Marlins in these 3 games. Giancarlo Stanton said it yesterday, to get a little bit of revenge. The Marlins had 2 games they felt slip away against the Phillies in Miami. 2 8th-inning leads disappear. Galvis fouls it.
I mean, you're talking to Rich about this fan base embracing this team. They lost 99 games last year. 63-99, clearly in rebuild mode. I think this is a nice crowd. I mean, you have a fan base that was spoiled for many years. They got on a nice run. You mentioned the World Series. Is that 06? And then they lost to the Yankees in 09?
2008.
2008, 8 and then 9. Right, back to back.
5 consecutive division titles.
So, you get that little flavor of winning, and now they say, okay, we're in rebuild mode. Normally crickets.
And of course, during that span, the Phillies had one of the great runs in terms of attendance. They had around 250 consecutive sellouts.
Wow.
3 straight years of sellouts. It's pretty impressive. 1-2 into right field. Galvis gets creative. Ruiz will have to stop at second. And here comes Goodell, the number 7 hitter.
Well, that's nice hitting right here. Freddie Galvis puts his foot down, does not try to do a whole lot. That's a little, it looked like a 2-seamer, kind of took a little bit off going down and away. Freddie Galvis, see the big hole, just shoots it right through with the runner at first base. Nice job of hitting.
Well, here is Goodell with the pitcher on deck. Eichhoff. Eichhoff singled, though, in the second and has swung the bat well this year. Goodell had a big hit in one of those 8th inning rallies down in Miami. Andres Blanco was another guy who had a game-changing hit in both of those comeback wins for the Phils. Adam Conley right now with runners first and second. Chopper is going to find left field. Charging is Yelich. Ruiz around third. Coming home. Yelich's throw is high, and Ruiz scores. And the Phillies have tied it. And Goodell is 2 for 2.
Yeah, Goodell gets after a 0-0 changeup fastball down the middle, just getting it by Martin Prado. Prado playing deep enough, thinking double play. Yelich, big windup. Nice play by Real Muto, keeping the runners at first and second, keeping the double play in order. Got some ups. Dangerous throw right there from Yelich.
Eickhoff now with 1 out. He's singled to center. He's 4 for 14 on the season. So this isn't an automatic bunt situation, but he may be bunting. Not there, and he takes a strike. A run apiece. Infield still creeping in. Now he squares and he misses. It's 0-2.
Yeah, when it took the first pitch, I couldn't imagine. I don't care how good a hitter he is. You got the pitcher up, you're bunting. Conley a little bit erratic right now, control wise.
Runner goes, and it's fouled. The trail runner, Goodell, was not running, but Galvis broke and had a good jump. It's 0-2.
Adam Conley getting in kind of a same tempo rhythm, and if you look, he gets set. And a lot of pitchers, when they start to struggle a little bit, especially with runners on base command, they get the same tempo, the same cadence. And right there, I think Galvis took advantage of either one look, time it. You see Echeverria wanting to keep him close. If pitchers, and it happens often, they get in the same rhythm, and a good runner will sense that, meaning come set, 1,000, 2,000, go. You give one look back to the runner. And if there's no jockeying, you see Echeverria now jockeying, keep him close. Nice job right there.
And a good pitch. Some good run on that. And Eickhoff strikes out. That brings up Borges, the 9-hitter. Well, for Adam Conley, this has been a really nice sophomore campaign, so to speak. It was mid-August when he really took off. His last 8 starts, an ERA of about 2.5 from last year.
Middle infield right there, just almost letting Galvis get a running lead. I like a little jockey in. I don't know, 2 outs, you want your pitcher to focus on the batter. Still, you don't want the runner to walk into third base. You see Galvis jockeying here.
Borges pops it up, foul territory, Prado, and it's 5 rows in.
And my reason for that, Rich, is that, you know, of course, runner at third base with 2 outs is a lot different than less than 2 outs, right? But there's a lot of additional ways that you can even, an infield single, some little blooper that normally wouldn't score from second, that you're giving up a run. In a game like this, looks like Eickhoff has got his game on, Conley. That's the difference between a win and a loss, really, if you're not paying attention and give away a simple run midway through a game. Some pitchers, I don't care. 2 outs, I want to get now, I'm not trying to have a pitcher be distracted so much where it's not making a pitch to get the hitter out. That's the #1 job right here, the most important, obviously.
Galvis at second, Goodell at first, a run across. Conley working on the Phillies right fielder, Peter Borges.
So long as it doesn't detract the pitcher, Conley, from making a quality pitch. But all this, I like it. I also like Galvis as being a nuisance.
Kind of buries that slider in low. It's 1-2.
The inside move. How often do you ever see a guy get picked off in the inside move? Hardly ever. But it keeps a guy from not getting a huge secondary lead where if it's a hard shot to the outfield single, he doesn't score.
And Conley does make a quality pitch. Phillies get a run. This game's tied at 1, headed to the 5th. In Philly, first of 3, Miami and the Phils. Bring your group to Marlins Park. Get a personalized experience, spend quality time with your guests at an affordable cost, perfect for family outings, birthdays, networking. Call the Marlins Group sales team today, 1-877-MARLINS. Go to marlins.com/groups. Rich Schwartz, Al Leiter, Jessica Blaylock, Adeiny Echeverria. And a soft pop-up towards the Marlins dugout. And Ruiz gets some help from Martin Prado and Jeff Mathis. Echeverria leading it off with Adam Conley and then Derek Dietrich.
See Prado coming over, guys. Initially, they want to get out of the way and protect themselves.
Echeverria goes down and has to climb back up with a sore foot or leg. I'm not sure where it hit him. Not wearing any kind of a guard.
Guard would have helped.
As a pitcher, when you see that, what's your next pitch?
You want to come in again and hurt his other shin? His out pitch has been slider, curveball. I got to believe he's going to do something away here.
Fastball, and Echeverria was looking off speed and just able to fight that fastball off.
You know, you could see when a guy's struggling. First pitch, he fouls off a first pitch slider down the way into the Marlins dugout, and then swings at a pitch that's boring in off the plate 3 or 4 inches. Now he's in protect mode, so now it's shorten everything up, think right center. It's a breaking ball here.
Got a breaking ball, and he pulls it down the left field line. Echeverria around first, on his way to second. Goodell slipped, but that's a double, a clean double for Echeverria. And the Marlins are in business here in the 5th.
After the pitch before he hit the double there with the curveball, it was a fastball away, short stroke. This is a curveball that's up in the zone, enough for him to stay back. Let's say if he's able to stay back, if his hands are back, he can still be fooled with an elevated curveball. That's what a hitter can do by putting the good barrel, the good wood on it, and end up depositing left field for a double. Not pretty, but actually has to have some balance to be able to get the barrel to ball. Sometimes that's all it takes, Rich, to get going.
First time that the Marlins have had their leadoff man aboard. And we'll see if Conley is going to try to bunt Echeverria to third. Phillies infield certainly looks like they expect it. Conley takes a breaking ball for a strike. Adams struck out back in the 3rd inning.
Bunt and bunt to third. You want to push the ball to third, which for me was that was the easiest bunt. Trying to bunt to first was more difficult. You want the ball to Franco. You'll see Tommy Joseph, the first baseman, come crashing.
Remember, he's a catcher by trade. Ruiz throws to third. Franco across the diamond, and Conley beats it. How about that? Good heads up by Echeverria. Ruiz thought for sure he was on his way to third. He didn't even look. Wow. And then Conley beats the throw. The Marlins are set up first and second.
Well, let's see if there's a deke here, Rich, because yeah, okay. So if you saw on the top of the screen right there, Echeverria kind of made a good aggressive sprint. I think he was actually trying to go and realize I'm dead in the water. I better turn around. Watch here. Echeverria, this is an aggressive, I'm going to be out. And then that move alone cost Ruiz to throw to third base.
So it's Dietrich now, who is lined out and bounced out. And a breaking ball is in. The official score has given Conley a hit.
Wow. I don't know. That's a brain cramp right there.
So hit, fielder's choice. It's not an error. It's not a sacrifice either.
They don't have mental errors?
No. No.
Yeah, I guess you got to give it hit, right?
And now Eickhoff has fallen behind Dietrich. And he misses. The count is 3-0.
It's a good job right there. Just fastball down in the zone. Dietrich looking fastball 2-0, 2-1, 3-1 right here. Well, he'll get a take here.
That one just catches the outside corner. And it's 3-1. A couple home runs for Dietrich.
Oh, look at that there, Rich.
Yeah, that's
you're killing me, Blue.
7 doubles. He's got 3 triples, plenty of pop, and a 3-1 pitch after he calls timeout. Dietrich walks. Bags are loaded. Here comes Prado, who's 2 for 2.
Good job right there by Dietrich. Not trying to expand. You realize the pitcher's in trouble. Eickhoff kind of squeezing a little bit. Needs a little time here.
And that's, the other thing, people talk about the suspension to D. Gordon and how have the Marlins fared since. And it's Derek Dietrich who has kind of led the way. Dietrich has taken most of the at-bats in that leadoff spot. His on-base percentage has been right around 400. It's just a tick or two below 400 right now. A reminder that the Fish Family is the exclusive loyalty program of Marlin fans, and the bonus code is FIGHTIN'FISH. Go to marlins.com/fishfamily to learn more. Prado singled to right center in the first, up the middle in the third. Middle infield, back for two. Corners, not that deep. And Eickhoff really fighting it right now. He misses outside to Prado.
Well, nowhere to go. Prado, good eye, can handle the bat. His last at bat, 0-2 count. Did a nice job of hitting, going up the middle on a slider. Martin Prado's just making that strike zone real small. His spot.
Off speed pitch, and he buried it. And it's 2-0. On the road, Prado at 476. JT Realmuto fourth on that list. The wind has absolutely stopped. Just a still night here in Philly. And Prado swings at the 2-0 and fouls it to Lenny Harris.
He got the 2-0 fastball. There's the lack of wind.
Just started back up. Cue the wind.
Boy, and early today, was it howling coming in from left field to the first base dugout?
Yes, it was. See what he gets, 2-1. Now that swing, Prado really back-footed it.
Well, that was a good pitch. The 2-0 fastball, he smothered it. I think he just knew he was getting a heater, got out in front of it. That's a 2-1 changeup from Eickhoff. That is a good pitch. See Carlos Ruiz getting it up in the stomach. But that out in front, that's a tough pitch. Looks like a fastball. Prado out in front a little.
Eickhoff ready. 2-2. Breaking ball missed low. And Prado kind of bailed on that one.
Nasty. Oh my, this is a 12-6 Uncle Charlie right here. Woo! I don't know, did their tracks get that on the zone?
Tracks got that just below the knees.
Wow.
See it? Well, it might have even touched. All right, full count. Prado hits it in the air to center, not too deep. Herrera is there. Echeverria tags at third, and he's coming home. The throw comes home, and it's cut. And the Marlins get a run. They take the lead. Prado delivers. Conley holds second. Dietrich is still at first, and now you get into Yelich and Stanton.
Slider down the middle, but again, a gutsy pitch. Bases loaded. Prado looking fastball. Eickhoff has shown he'll throw any of his pitches. Curveball, changeup, slider down the middle. Prado out in front, but far enough to bring in Echeverria.
Yelich struck out in the first, zipped a double into right center in the third. And you got Stanton on deck. Eickhoff sitting at 84 pitches. Conley a little more comfortable at 67. Yelich a smash to short. Galvis, Hernandez turn is in time. And the Phillies get two to finish the inning, but not before the Marlins reclaim the lead. Martin Prado sacrifice fly halfway through 2-1 Fish.
Bank Park, where the Marlins lead it 2-1. Martin Prado just continues to produce at the plate. He now has his 14th multi-hit game of the year. But for Prado, he says he doesn't like to focus on his individual stats or numbers. To him, the most important thing is that the team is doing well. He says when you focus on individual stats, that's when you get in trouble. But if you grow together as a team, that is when success comes. Guys, he speaks that like a true veteran. That is why he is so important to this team.
It is, Jessica. That's why the Marlins, in the middle of the chaos from last year, as Herrera swings and misses, decided at the end of every defensive inning they threw the ball to Prado. And you'll still see it even on a strikeout. The third out of the inning, Real Muto or Mathis will fire it down to third, and sort of a salute and a tip of the cap to Prado, their leader. Prado will then take the ball and hand it to a kid near the dugout.
That's good.
Yeah, you oftentimes you'll get from a visiting broadcaster or somebody saying, "I can't believe the Marlins catcher keeps forgetting how many outs there are."
Oh.
Because you throw it down to third.
Yeah.
That happens every now and then.
Yeah.
But even a ball to deep center or to right, it ends up in Prado's glove. Herrera's bunt is a good one. I'm telling you what, this guy is fun to watch. He is blossoming into a terrific player for the Phillies. And he's aboard, and he's got speed here in the bottom of the fifth.
Yeah, this is a perfect bunt. He just pushes it out far enough. Real Muto, if it just had one less couple feet to it, Real Muto realized and put it in his pocket. Herrera that fast, but this is the facet, all the different facets of a player like Herrera that can beat you or get on base and create havoc. What a heck of a leadoff hitter.
You see that peak.
Yeah.
And he's looking to see if he can pick up a breaking ball that's coming and maybe figure out a good pitch to run on. Conley goes over.
Or a simple flick of the thumb throw over. When I used to look at video, Rich, I looked for guys that would do that. And if I knew a guy was looking in, and it's all fair game, folks. I would step off and throw over. He was being the runner, thinking that I'm looking in as well as he is.
Another bunt, and this one's going to go foul. Yeah, this is what the Phillies do.
Yep.
This is how they've done it. They don't have a lot of firepower. The Phillies are hitting as a team .233. They've hit just 29 homers. Their slugging percentage .363. That's low. I mean, that's looks like it's 14th in the National League. Their on-base percentage is under .300, but they scratch out runs. Their rotation has been better than most expected. Their bullpen's been really good, and they win those close games.
And defense. Their the defense efficiency, they're fourth with a 704, what's called DER. It's a rating of defensive efficiency.
Swing and a miss by Hernandez. He is 1 for 2. Conley with 3 strikeouts. He's allowed 6 hits, none for extra bases, just 1 walk. And that one skipped right by Real Muto. And I don't know that he really had a chance.
Yeah.
It came by mask high.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what happens to a pitcher when he's aware of a guy that can steal. This is a 58-footer. Forget about 59-footer. Just throws a lawn dart. Tough play for Real Muto. I think it was a changeup, something off speed.
That's a costly 90 feet with a 2-1 lead. A wild pitch, nobody out here in the 5th. Hernandez trying to shoot it to the right side. 1-2.
Oh, there you go. Tied with Atlanta.
Got him. Conley comes in and gets a nice strikeout. 4th of the ball game. He still has some big bats to deal with. Maikel Franco, the first of which.
Well, that's a pitch right there that's made him real tough to hit. Right-handed batters, only 189 coming into tonight's game. Lefties are batting 370 clip. This boring, hard fastball in. Just right-handed batters generally don't see this. Left-handed pitchers historically throw away, two-seam away, change-up away, turn the ball over. He pounds the body line to the right-handed batters.
As Carl Pavano said on Marlins Live earlier tonight, he said, Al, you were as good as anyone at getting from the inner part of the plate into the hands on right-handed hitters. Is it a learned skill? Is it something you just had?
It was my natural movement that really was my superior side. It was glove side, and I drove the ball into the right-handed batter, and it was a comfort. You know, certain guys if you watch a guy long enough, you'll see where his dominant side is. Very few pitchers, Greg Maddux comes to mind, that was dominant with stuff and location on both sides of the plate. There's very few guys that have that. Now you could just see Conley has that release point, the landing, the drive inside to the righty, and that's his comfort, which it was for me. I cut the ball. Adam doesn't cut it per se. This could be, he's got a shot here, back foot slider or elevate high fastball. Just watching Franco here, I would come in again. Yep.
That's a great pitch. Inside corner, struck him out. Franco not happy, and he exchanges words with Andy Fletcher.
Well, it almost looked like a waste pitch up and in. You see Conley, just here it is, hit it. I love that aggressive kind of sling in fire. You see Franco had a beef with Andy Fletcher, home plate umpire. That ball was in about 2 or 3 inches, I'd say.
If you're going to make an 0-2 pitch, though, that's the spot.
Perfect. It couldn't be in a better spot because it does so many things. It gets the hitter realizing, okay, he's coming in on me. You can open up a way.
His last 4 outs have been strikeouts, and that is similar to Jose Fernandez yesterday. You got a sense when the Marlins had that collision in the outfield, Fernandez took it upon himself to say, you know what, I got 2 guys that are chipped up. I need to get some punch outs, and he did in bulk at the end of his start. In the air to right, Stanton back now in, and Adam Conley pitches out of trouble in the 5th. To the 6th in Philly, and it's 2-1 Miami. In Philly, city of brotherly love for 3 Marlins and Phils. 4 teams one division, 2.5 games. That's it. I know it's mid-May, but it's certainly a surprise to a lot of people in baseball that the National League East has got 4 teams over 500. Giancarlo Stanton, Jared Eichhoff, and a fastball, and Stanton swings and misses. He's popped out and struck out.
Well, over 25% of the season, right? About-ish. Marlins coming into tonight's game 20-17. The Phillies 22-16.
Phillies have been doing it winning close games. Marlins have been doing it winning road games. They're still under 500 at home. Stanton takes outside. Giancarlo, the homer yesterday, a 1 for 4. He didn't exactly tear it up in Washington. He was 4 for 18. And he spins himself out on that swing. And for the second time, Eichhoff strikes out Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, he saw 2 curveballs and then that slider. You see the late break. It looks a lot farther. Here's outside corner. Not really moving it. And it's about 7-8 inches away. Tough pitch.
And it looks like Stanton is back in one of those valleys of trying to identify sliders right now.
Well, I imagine, Rich, a curveball slider right-handed pitcher, it's got to be real tough for Giancarlo Stanton after getting hit in the face.
I'll tell you what, though, having watched him over the last 5 years in the big leagues, you've seen spells like this. But he's getting better at pulling himself out in a timely manner than before. The valleys are shorter now than they were early in his career. And one of the things he'll do, here's a 1-1. Bohr sends that one to left center field, hits it pretty well. Herrera back, looking up, and it's gone. And Justin Bohr homers for the second time on this road trip. He hit one in almost the same spot in Washington, D.C., and he blasts one here, his 7th, on a 1-1 pitch. The Marlins have hit 2 solo homers tonight, Bohr and Ozuna, and it's 3-1.
I mean, that's just monster strength. This is a pitch that ends up being up and away. It's a ball. Now, to drive it to left center would be impressive. To hit it over the left center field fence about 420, wow.
Ozuna cracks a bouncer, and Franco across the diamond in time to get it. And so there are 2 outs. Another look. Watch where this one lands.
I mean, he's got to stay on the ball enough to drive it. And to drive it, well, I said 420. That's going to be a little less than that. That's impressive. That is a strong man. What do you got, Rich?
409 feet.
Wow, then it wouldn't have gone out. Oh, no, it jets in there, yeah.
Here is Real Muto to finish the Stanton story. One of the things he'll do, get in the cage, the indoor cage, set up the slider machine, and just feed slider after slider, not over the plate, but just off the plate. So he recognizes the pitch. And every now and then when one comes back over the plate, only then will he swing at it. That historically has been able to bring him out of the valley.
So more of him just seeing repeated sliders and then depict the one that he should swing at.
Recognizing
the strike.
The strike, recognizing where it's going.
Yeah. That's good.
Real Muto, little tapper up the middle. And Galvis fires it in time. But Miami goes deep again. This time Justin Bohr, and it's 3-1 Fish. Bottom 6 in Philly. Time now for Geico, this date in Marlins history. The night the Hopper beat the Mets. Second Marlins reliever to earn a win and drive in the winning run. Bert Badenhop did it. Richie Lewis did it as well back in the inaugural season of 1993.
Richie Lewis, Florida State.
Bert Badenhop, Bowling Green. The Hopper. First pitch swinging. Tommy Joseph lifts it in the air. Martin Prado. This is a great Jersey ballpark and city, really, when you think about it.
Like New Jersey?
No.
Oh.
Like
yeah.
Broad Street Bully, Jersey,
Yeah.
sitting next to Roy Halladay, Jersey. Philly colors from the old days, the
70s,
throwback,
yeah,
the Mickey Morandini look.
Oh, that's more like when Pete Rose is here, right?
That's right. It's just a great. You might even see some Villanova Wildcat paraphernalia in and around the national champs. Liner to center field. Joseph has a hit. Ozuna picks it up. And the Phillies have their leadoff man aboard.
His first hit.
Yeah, there it is. First major league hit. So a guy that's battled concussions in the minor leagues the last few seasons. He really has persevered to get here, and the Philly fans know that. This is a really warm moment. And now here's Galvis. And he takes in. Galvis is single. Ball on a strike. Conley just attacks that inside corner, that inside part against right-handers.
Yeah, that one looked as good or better than the one he threw to Franco last inning.
That one got a little too far in.
Slow it down.
He is one of the fastest workers in the National League. That one cranked foul. His time between pitches, under 20 seconds.
And where does that put him?
That puts him third behind Steven Matz and John Neese.
Oh, a couple lefties. Look at that.
Matz and the Mets got good news today.
Yeah.
An MRI showing no structural damage in the left elbow of Matz. No ligament damage. John Heyman reporting that. Mets have not confirmed it. Bouncer, Prado picks, Dietrich turns, and that's a double play. And a difficult start by Prado, who made it look easy.
Wow. First of all, huge double play here in this tight game. Off the bat, I thought it was hit hard enough off of Freddie Galvis. Let's take a look here. One short hop in between hop. Nice play by Prado. Quick transfer. Dietrich, and Galvis is not a slow runner. That's a good quick runner there. The quickness of the ball and nice play. Firm throw, hits him in the chest. Nice play all the way around.
Liner, corner, it's fair. Stanton has it. And the Marlins can't get Tyler Goodell out tonight.
Well, there you go. That was at least one run.
Goodell now 3 for 3.
Let's see here, trying to come in again, up middle of the plate. And Conley the whole night so far has been pounding the right-handers in. Ball did not get in enough, middle of the plate. Goodell, how about that? 3 for 3 with a double.
Well, this is the pitcher spot. And Pete Mackanin is going to pull the trigger on Emmanuel Burris. Pinch a Penny brings you this appearance by Burris. Andrew Bailey, all part of that. Rick Kranitz, the bullpen coach, paying close attention as Bailey gets loose and Burris pops one foul and out of play. Rick Kranitz, former pitching coach for the Marlins. And Burris steps out. Burris born in Washington, D.C. And the switch hitter, now 31.
Good pitch right there. Change up. Burris been around a bit. Got to the big leagues in 2008 with the Giants. Had a chance to play for his hometown team last year with the barely only a few games, only 5 games last year with the Nats.
Burris was a very good college player, Kent State University. That one's going to get into the seats. Well, here tonight, the Marlins a 3-1 lead, first of 3. It has the feel of a showdown because of what the Phillies have accomplished this year and what the Marlins have started over the last 3 weeks. Tight ball games when they met in the 3-gamer a week and a half ago in Miami. The Phillies 2 come from behind wins. Conley attacks in and misses. And the Marlins' first visit to Philly. Looks like Kyle Bearclaw in Miami's bullpen. Conley at 93 pitches now, trying to get through the 6th. Burris at just 1 for 13 as a pinch hitter this year. Reaches out, liner soft. Ozuna is there, and he makes a running catch. Great defense behind Adam Conley. The double play started by Martin Prado, and Marcell Ozuna streaks in. It's still 3-1. Coverage of baseball. All right, Outlider, let's follow along. Jose Bautista. We're just getting started with Jose Bautista. Carlos Beltran. We could have used the word slugs up by Jose Bautista, and then Ryan Rayburn overshadowed by both those guys. A pinch hit 2-run homer in the 7th inning for the Rockies. Okay. Remember the bat flip last year in that dramatic moment in the postseason game up in Toronto? Bautista hit by a pitch, a hard slide to Rougned Odor. Odor got up, and with a right hand, he slugs Bautista. Ooh. Bautista did not go down. A little help there from a veteran player. That's a veteran move by Adrian Beltre to get Bautista and get him away. So, Al Leiter, since we have you tonight, let's get your perspective on what you saw yesterday as Andrew Bailey is in for the Phillies.
Well, first of all, how many times have you seen bench clearing, quote-unquote, brawls? Lots, right?
Sure.
Have we seen one that actually was connection of a fight, or a punch?
Not
you have to go way back.
Right. I mean,
so watching that, you know, it really comes back to a couple things. I thought the low bridge, I know guys, you know, are taught that if guys are coming after you to try to throw it to where the guy's going to get down sooner. It just looks so premeditated to me. And then having looked at some old video of Mr. Odor, it seems like, you know, trouble has followed him.
that's his patented move.
Yeah, I mean, he slugged I think it was in AAA, either last year or the year before, in a similar situation, and he was the runner, ironically enough, and he was taking a guy out to left field. I read some quotes from Rougned Odor, and he thought he was only going to get a couple days. I got to believe, Rich, you know, I don't think that the commissioner's office is going to be that lenient on something like that. I mean, I see this as like a 15-day suspension. I really do.
Echeverria hits the ball into right field. Borges can run, but he can't catch this one. Into the corner it goes. Echeverria with a double. And Adeiny Echeverria is busting out a bit in this ballpark, where he had one of his biggest days as a major leaguer. He has doubled twice.
Wow. Echeverria, he's ahead, behind in the count in his previous at bat with a double to left field. This is a pitch up out over the plate. Stays on it. Nice job of hit.
This is a great spot for Ichiro here, with a runner at second and nobody out. Ichiro so good in his career at putting the ball in play on the ground. And obviously you'd love a hit, but if Ichiro just puts a 4-3 in the book, you're happy in moving Echeverria to third for the Dietrich at bat. .948 hits. And of course he can bunt a little bit too, and he fouls it back to the screen. So you think Odor is going to get lots of games?
I do.
What about Bautista for the slide, or, you know, getting involved?
Getting punched in the face.
Well, but I mean, he came off the slide. He popped up and had the chest out as well. Maybe a game or two.
I mean, if you're going to try to be, you know, try to find the fair and balance here, maybe you give him a game or two. I mean, I clearly saw him as a guy that saw that there was a low bridge. Odor had no intention of trying to get the runner out at first. It was all about trying to hit him in the face. Ball didn't hit anything, and he threw it down the right field line. I think Bautista's turning around saying, you know, what's that all about? While it looked aggressive, it certainly wasn't even remotely close.
All right, maybe a fine then.
Probably a fine.
Ichiro with the count 1-1. Echeverria at second, nobody out. All the way to the screen. That'll get Echeverria to third. Andrew Bailey missing his target. And it's a wild pitch. Bailey, a former closer, tried to rekindle his career in the middle of the Phillies bullpen.
Well, that ball higher than high. It's hard for catchers to judge. They're so in tune to in front of them, and something that's only 3 feet off the ground on here, that's 6+ feet off the ground. Just whiffed it.
Now the infield comes in, and Ichiro's in a spot to drive in a run with a 2-1 pitch coming. Three and 1.
31-year-old Andrew Bailey, as you said, Rich, came up with the A's. A local kid from here in South Jersey.
It's up and in, and Ichiro walks. So a double by Echeverria, a walk to Ichiro. And here is Dietrich with runners at the corners.
Yeah, middle infield is going to play for the double play, and corners in.
Dietrich walked back in the 5th. He's 0 for 2 with a line drive out to center. And of course, Ichiro can run. He swiped his 500th base this year. There is not a more limber athlete in Major League Baseball than that 42-year-old at first base.
He does have some routine, doesn't he?
Oh, it is incredible to watch. I mean, look, there are some guys near the end of their career that take it easy for batting practice, take a few cuts, maybe shag a fly ball. Ichiro is in full workout mode in the outfield, running down balls. Dietrich swings and misses.
Ichiro, he really is a baseball player. I mean, every sense of it, loves every minute of it. I'm sure he would love to be playing every day and get a better opportunity to get to 3,000 hits.
It's funny, I asked him about that situation he had at the plate with a runner at third. Is he looking for a pitch he can drive and drive to the outfield? And he looked at me and he goes, Rich, look at my arms. Dietrich drives it to left, and Echeverria will score. He tags at third, and he comes home. And a nice job by Derek Dietrich. And Ichiro said, look at my arms, Rich. I'm just trying to make contact. He said, and I really get nervous in those situations. And that was after he had driven a ball in the gap to drive home 2 in a key spot. And I said, I looked at him and I said, yeah, but everybody looks at your arms, but nobody looks at your legs. Ichiro's legs are incredibly muscular. You look at his bottom half, and it is a power plant. Incredibly strong from the toes up. Prado now, Ichiro, let's see if he's on the move.
Well, just watch him in BP over the years. I remember, when he first got here in Seattle. Here's a guy that can go line to line, bunt, single, slap the ball to left. In BP, he could drive it out of the park as any 3-4 hitter, home run hitter.
I've always felt that if Ichiro were able to enter in the home run hitting contest of the All-Star game, he could win it.
Yep.
And you tell people that, and they don't believe you. But you tell Major League players that, and they will say, I believe you, because Major League players will stop and watch him take BP. Jess, you've got more?
Yeah, guys, I was talking to Martin Prado earlier today about Ichiro, and he says that he has such a respect for the way that he takes care of himself. He said, it's absolutely incredible. I never see the guy in the training room. I don't know how he does it. And how about this? Ichiro, throughout the course of his career, he has only been on the disabled list once. That was on the 15-day DL back in April of 2009.
And I think that was for an ulcer. I don't think it was a pulled hamstring or a sore this or that. I believe it was for an ulcer. And we've got confirmation from the crack staff.
It was.
So maybe he's right. Maybe he does get nervous in those situations.
But you know what's good, and Prado's, giving him props and respect as he should. For all the younger guys there, here you have a guy that, future Hall of Famer, has been around a long time, takes care of his body, he's not playing, he's a fourth outfielder. He's a great example of how to do it right, how to play the game right, how to prepare properly. I know there's a language barrier. He does speak more English than most people realize, but his primary language obviously being Japanese, and it's sparingly, he's polite, he's mostly quiet.
2-2 coming. He's running, and Prado fouls it off. Ichiro, as he got to second, he and Galvis met. You talk about language. When he first got to the big leagues, he was playing against Oakland. Frank Menechino was at second. Everyone had Ichiro in awe. No one thought of even talking to him. And Ichiro, playing Oakland, drilled a ball to left. He'd been wearing Oakland out the entire series. And he slides into second, and Menechino's waiting for the ball. And Ichiro pops up and says, "Hello, Frank."
Oh yeah, Ichiro's funny.
And that's where you understand that he knows a little more English than he lets on. He does not like to do interviews in English. He does not want to make a mistake. He's very much a perfectionist. He doesn't want to say something that is misinterpreted. He's running, pitches out, and Prado walks. And Andrew Bailey kind of laboring here in the 7th.
Good at bat by Martin Prado. A couple cut fastballs away. He was just fouling it off enough. You make a pitcher work, throw more strikes. Tough to put away.
And the Phillies are going to go to their bullpen. Pete Mackanin has seen enough of Andrew Bailey. Yelich coming up. Wes Kendall, Toyota, called to the bullpen. In Philly. Friday, the Nationals are coming. Marlins Park, the Nationals and the Marlins will play on Ford Cuban Heritage Night. Burger and beer package, just $25. Post-game fireworks as well. For tickets, go to marlins.com. It's a weekend series against the Nationals. The Marlins will not see the Nationals after the Sunday game, Sunday the 22nd, until September.
Yeah.
Like mid-September.
Mid-September, and then they'll finish out playing the Nats in D.C. to finish the season.
Elvis Araujo in for Christian Yelich. Araujo with runners at first and second. Ichiro's at second. Prado's at first. Yelich doubled in the third.
Araujo 6'7". Elvis Araujo. They got him down here as 275 pounds, Rich. Would that be? Oh, my bad. 274.
Yeah, that at 6'7", 275. That's a big guy. He quite possibly, Elvis has shed a few pounds since that weigh-in to the start of spring training. A strike. 14th appearance for the Venezuelan lefty. This was a Jerad Eickhoff start. 6 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits. Andrew Bailey and now Araujo. And Yelich drives it to left and deep. Goodell won't get it. It's into the corner. Ichiro around third, coming home. Prado will stop. And Christian Yelich has his second double. Miami stretches their lead to 5-1. All coming against the Phillies bullpen here in the 7th inning.
Nice job here. Lefty reliever coming in. A slider up in the zone. Good for Yelich to go the other way. Nice hitting. Doesn't try to pull the ball. Fastball away. Slider stays on it. Another run for the Marlins now. They got a little breathing room here. 2 more in the 7th inning. 5-1.
And first base is open. They won't pitch to Stanton. It'll give Bohr an at-bat against the lefty. Miami hasn't had many laughers this year. Big wins in which they've been able to bring in a long man to finish the game. For Don Mattingly, especially in that run of 12 games in which they won 11, every one of those wins needed either a save or the back end of the bullpen to finish a tight game. So if they could push across a few more runs, especially in the wake of the day-night doubleheader in the 4-game series this weekend in Washington, D.C., this could help set them up for tomorrow night and Wednesday, a day game, before an off day on Thursday.
Yeah, if they could, the concern obviously over a long season, you keep going to your go-to guys. Eventually they get tired, and you hope they don't get hurt. At least effectiveness goes down. David Phelps has done such a nice job. Eric Law's been good.
And of course Ramos has been outstanding.
Yeah, I mean that's a given with the closer.
Bohr swings and misses his last at bat.
Yeah, that was letter high, up and away, left center. That is a strong man.
Strong man with a short swing. Not a real complicated swing. And Bohr fouls it off. We were talking about Rule 5 draft picks with Herrera and Goodell for the Phillies. Bohr, a minor league Rule 5 draft pick by the Marlins from the Cubs. After he had put up good numbers in the Cubs system, stalled, and the Cubs left him unprotected. Well, you have Anthony Rizzo at first base.
So when you say minor league, that was like a AA, AAA kind of protection?
Yes. There's a high fastball that gets by him. And a strikeout by Araujo.
Yeah, that's just elevated gas. Cannot lay off it. You can see how high it is, higher than high. That's the pitch. If you lay off that, obviously it's a ball. Not too many people could hit that one. See how high it is on the Fox tracks?
All right, here's Ozuna now, and this will be an interesting at-bat. Ozuna, whose newfound discipline at the plate has translated into a long hit streak. 16 games, and he homered in the second. Bags loaded. And a strike. It's 0-1. Ozuna's home run in the second off of Eickhoff. The first run of the game. The Bohr homer came in the 6th. Flipped down the right field line and out of play. 2 career grand slams, but he's behind in the count 0-2.
Yeah, he's got to fight here.
By the way, that bat that he's holding is a Bonds model, and Bonds has had to order new bats, more bats. There's been, I want to say, 2 or 3 at-bats in this streak of 16 games in which he's been able to get a hit with a broken bat. You know, a line drive, got his hands through, dumps it in, and I think that's allowed Bonds to not cry, but to smile and say, nice at bat. And swing and a miss. He got him. So Ozuna strikes out. Miami adds 2 and leads it 5-1 in the 7th. Five-1, Fish on top. Marcell Ozuna in a hurry.
Bam! Right there in the 2nd inning, solo jack.
Now the Phillies answered. Chooch with a nice slide. Tyler Goodell drove in that run, and this was impressive.
Oh, wow. I think we just saw Justin Moore going the other way, and then Yelich just in the last inning. 2 runs scored in the 7th. We got a little breathing room. Marlins do 5-1. 8 hits on the board. Spreading the love around, getting some hits and RBIs from his few spots.
We knew we'd find some Villanova. Hey, the Sixers are in the house too. Although the Villanova, you know what? The Wildcats may have been able to beat the Sixers this year. And we're getting a nod of agreement from Ed Svita, our baseball historian.
We have not seen the Eagles. I'm just saying.
No, we haven't. All right, Kyle Barraclough. It's a big night for the Sixers tomorrow night.
Yeah?
It's the lottery. The NBA lottery is tomorrow night.
Oh.
And the Sixers once again are playing the lottery. Here's Borges, fastball up from Barraclough. Borges, Odubel Herrera, and Cesar Hernandez for the Phils. Kyle Barraclough, his last outing was not his best outing. Barraclough came in, a hit and a walk, and that was in the ball game yesterday. Marlins were hopeful that he could finish the game at 5-1, and as it happened, he only faced the 2 hitters, and A.J. Ramos had to come out of the pen and get the save. Breaking ball, a strike. Barraclough out of St. Mary's in the San Francisco Bay Area. And a swing and a miss. Down goes Borges. Philly fans will remember a player from St. Mary's Von Hayes.
Really? All right. I remember Von. That slider, middle of the plate right there. Von Hayes. I was asking Barry Bonds about, comps. And I said, Christian Yelich. I think Olerud.
Right. That era.
And he said, funny you mentioned St. Mary's. Who's ever talking about St. Mary's of California? And he said, Yelich reminds me a little bit of Von Hayes.
There you go. Here's Odubel Herrera. All right, we have found some Eagles paraphernalia.
I knew it had to be somewhere.
Bear Claw, 95, a strike. Odubel Herrera, if you were to select the All-Star team right now for the Phillies, this is the guy.
No question. He is their best player.
One. Turns on a breaking ball. And Pete Mackanin today told us he's still learning. He's still, look, he was a second baseman when they Rule 5'd him and got him from Texas. They threw him in center field, and at times he struggled there, but now he's much, much better. They talked to him in the offseason about, hey, you're going to hit leadoff. We need you to walk a little more. And so he's got 29 walks already. He seems to have mastered that. Flips that one foul. He brings an infectious energy, much like the green guy over his shoulder.
But that in itself is pretty remarkable in 1 year to make such a change in your approach. He had 28 walks last year and almost 500 at bats. And what'd you say? He's got one more than that this year? 29?
29. 1-2. The Fanatic, as always, loves the bald guys. I saw the other night on MLB Network that special on the Expos and the footage of Yuppie enraging Tommy Lasorda.
Oh, that was real.
From the top of the dugout. It was real. It was personal.
Tommy didn't like
the Fanatic. He
either.
didn't like the Fanatic either.
Well, they were making fun of Tommy.
No. Lou Piniella had a healthy disdain for the famous chicken, too. That one is lined into the seats.
You love that, don't you?
I do. I do. He is.
Kids love it, right?
Players love it. You watch the Fanatic and the visiting players. 10 to 15 minutes before each ball game here, he is in front of the visiting dugout. Players are stealing the keys to his Fanatic mobile. He's rolling around with them. It's really fun to watch. Oh, off of Barraclough, and it's into right field. Herrera around first. He'll hold there. That one literally knocked Barraclough off his feet, and let's hope he's okay.
Well, it sounded like leather. Let's see if it. God, I hope it sounds right.
Looked like that right leg was out, and it kicked off the shin. Dustin Luker, one of the Marlins trainers, tending to him. Bang. And he will take a few throws here. Bearclaw, who was the Double-A closer for the Cardinals last year when the Marlins traded Steve Cishek to St. Louis.
Nice pickup. I'll tell you, I love Kyle Bearclaw. You talk about closer stuff, and I know, you know, command becomes an issue for young, hard throwers like Bearclaw. He's got the best strikeouts per 9 rate of any National League reliever at 15 per 9. Third amongst all Major League relievers. He's got the stuff. There's no question about it. You talk about max velocity, almost 98 miles an hour. But like most pitchers, you know, it's a command issue, especially as a reliever. You got to come in, pound the zone, get ahead.
Over Bearclaw, got a piece of it. Dietrich gets another piece, and everybody is safe. And so Cesar Hernandez is aboard, and the Phillies with 1 out have 2 on. And that'll bring Franco to the plate.
Just to get the glove on it, wasn't able to stop it. And here in between hop, Dietrich wasn't able to handle it. Let's see if he played it into an in-between hop. He had to get to it. Tough play.
It's going to be an error on Dietrich.
Wow. So off the pitcher, deflection, that's a tough error.
And a good breaking ball from Bearclaw.
So ricochets off the pitcher. I don't think I've ever seen that. So
E4.
E1-4.
Franco takes out. Adam Conley, meanwhile, in the dugout watching this, hoping for win number 3. A run in 6 innings. He scattered 8 hits. The Phillies are a team with a run differential that would tell you they're going to have to scratch and claw for runs. Minus 19, their run differential coming in. Fastball up and in. Excuse me, minus 30 on the run differential.
Which is really amazing that they're 6 games over 500 with a minus 30.
Yes, which is 11 less than a minus 19.
Marlins that are at a -1 coming into tonight. 154 runs to 155.
They maximize their opportunities. They win those close games. They're perfect in extra innings. And here come the Phillies with the bags loaded. And just an out. And Carlos Ruiz at the plate.
Well, that first pitch is so important for any pitcher, but when you're struggling a little bit right now with command, as Bearclaw is, you got to pound the zone. This is a good visit right here.
Juan Nieves, Miami's pitching coach. South Florida Honda dealers, get you ready for tomorrow night with Marlins Live. Craig Minervini, Carl Pavano in studio. Tomorrow night's a Twitter Tuesday. Wei-Yin Chen and Vince Velasquez, who, if you're looking for a Phillies pitcher to put on an all-star team, might be a guy you'd select. David Phelps in Miami's pen. Marlins would like to use him in the 8th, not to clean up the 7th.
Would like to not have him pitch. Through yesterday. struck out the side yesterday.
So here is Ruiz, who is 0 for 2. Three home runs this year. Certainly at the back end of his career. But it's been a career filled with big hits. Not necessarily great numbers at the end of the year, but moments and hits, especially in postseason. Chopper slowly hit. Echeverria to second, out there. Phillies get a run. Miami gets an out.
Just didn't hit it hard enough for Echeverria to turn the double play. I thought they might have had a chance with Carlos Ruiz not being a fast runner. Little fastball down the way, pulls off enough to get a ground ball here. You see the ball just slow enough, and Echeverria kind of making sure he gets the force at second. No play at first. Watching Ruiz getting out of there, knowing, okay, he's got to bust it. No play.
Tommy Joseph now, his first major league hit, his last time up, and a fastball for a strike. Joseph, who appeared in just 58 games last year, 27 the year before. And 34 the season before that. Concussion issues for the catcher.
Well, first batter for Bearclaw to get ahead. He's been in trouble mostly with command and throwing strikes. He's got 2 pitches here to make pitchers pitch.
0-2. And he got him. And so Bearclaw finishes the inning. Survives a line drive off the leg. Phillies get a run. It's 5-2 Miami. In Philly. A little Fanatic concert with the graduates. All right, Al, pay attention here.
Got it.
Follow Major League Baseball and Marlins Baseball with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. That's where we've been getting the exit speeds off the bats.
It's great. Great app. It really
the distance on home runs. It's on the MLB at-bat app. If you have it on your tablet, your iPad, your watch, if you're Eduardo Perez and you have one of those fancy watches.
He's got the...
oh, he's got every gadget you can imagine. Just pop it on, pop the game on, and click on feed, and that'll get you where you need to go. Phillies bullpen, again, Colton Murray is the third out of the pen. This was a Jared Eichhoff start. JT Realmuto. Murray with a fastball that misses down low. So a 3-run lead here in the 8th. You would think David Phelps would pitch the bottom of the 8th.
Good job. That bear claw getting out of that. Could have been real messy. Only 1 run the Phillies were able to scratch there with the double play.
Murray not getting that low strike. And it's 3-0. That pitch appeared to catch the knees. Three and 1. Tomorrow night, Wei-Yin Chen, the lefty, is matched up against Vince Velasquez, the talented young right-hander. That one is smacked fair down into the corner, and it rolls along the wall. Realmuto's got extra bases. People forget in this surge by Miami, which has taken them to 3 over. Yeah, Stan hit some long home runs. Ozuna's got the long hit streak. Yelich is getting on base and hitting doubles. Prado is close to the league lead. But JT Realmuto upped his average from the low 200s to over 300 with balls like this. Hard hit balls on a line, on the ground.
Batting all over in the lineup. Upwards of 2nd in the lineup.
Lead off a few times.
Lead off a few times. I'll tell you what, he can handle the bat. Definitely very good fastball hitter.
Marlins 7 extra base hits here tonight. And this guy at the plate with a pair of doubles, now 5 on the season. That one is scorched to right. Whatever it is about this ballpark, Adeiny Hechavarria just hits here. In his last 18 games, Hechavarria is 25 of 65.
He got a hanger right there, up out over the plate. Look, his first double down the left field line was an 0-2, kind of an excuse me swing that got him rolling. Then double to center field off of Andrew Bailey, and nice hitting there going the other way on a slider. Breaking ball up in the zone.
Here's Rojas, who came in at first base in the double switch. There's his career numbers in 23 games, 15 runs driven in. Hechavarria had that 7 RBI game back in 2013, which included a grand slam in this ballpark. So he likes it here, and the good news is the Marlins have 9 more games here this year. This is just the first time they've played in Philly this season. Rojas with runners at the corners and nobody out. It's a bunt, a first and third bunt, and for whatever reason, Hechavarria started, stopped, Rojas bunted. Realmuto kind of looked. I think there was either a signal missed or some confusion on the bases, at the plate, and maybe both.
Yeah, you'll bring in Rojas here for a safety squeeze. Unless it's a safety squeeze, push it past the pitcher, and Realmuto, you see him, is ready, kind of takes the aggressive secondary lead.
I don't know that Real Muto was looking at the plate expecting a bunt in that case. So Dietrich will be walked. You've got Prado on deck. I guess he gets a sacrifice, moving the runner to second.
Yeah. I don't get that. Chalk it up as a missed sign.
Those, you know what I've learned in calling games, and you know from playing it at this level. The next day, you always go down and you talk to the manager and you say, okay, what happened? And oftentimes, a manager won't throw a player or the third base coach under the bus, but you'll find that oftentimes it's because the signs have to be sent to the third base coach. Third base coach sends it out to the players. So there's a lot of communicating that has to go, and if there's a hiccup along the way.
Yep.
Bags loaded. Here's Prado. Fastball, a strike. Because a lot of times the manager will get the question, why in the world would you bunt then the next day or that night?
Right.
And the manager will say hem and haw, this, that, and the other. In actuality, the player at the plate wasn't supposed to bunt, but did on his own, and the manager takes the bullet for him. Or you also hear, why wouldn't you run in that situation? Why didn't you run then? And I've known managers that will tell the press, well, this, that, or the other. And then once the press leaves, said, I gave the guy the steal sign every pitch. One in the dirt. Ruiz knocks it down.
Although, as I'm listening to you, Rich,
yes,
missed signs are a part of it. It's you hope it's never going to happen. Just nice play by Carlos Ruiz, keeping that ball not only in front of him but saving a run. I can't tell you how many games I've been either part of or watching that guy's missed signs, and I don't know if it really is throwing a guy under the bus. He missed the sign.
2-1 pitch is fouled. Now, I've heard that too. I mean, I've heard managers say, hey, we just missed a sign.
Yep.
And leave it at that.
Just curious. Rojas coming in first and third. Nobody out. He's an everyday player. He's a player. He's not a pitcher.
Well, it's funny because you had Echeverria moving like he was expecting hit and run. And you had Rojas bunting like he thought he was supposed to bunt. 2-2 coming. Middle infield back for 2, and Prado spins out of the way as that one zips up and in.
Hey, Colton Murray, hey, he's hitting 93, but boy, it looks a lot harder than that. This guy's coming after him. A little wild here, nowhere to put him. 3-2 count, make sure it's a strike.
Prado is not homered yet this year. In the air and towards the line, Borges is there, makes the catch. Realmuto tags. The throw is on the money. Prado not happy with himself. And it's up to Yelich to squeeze anything out of this inning.
Well, it looked like the fastball just beat him. This is a right down the middle, 93 miles an hour, and you see Prado just peeling off enough to see such a good hitter realizing he missed an opportunity to tack on another run for the Marlins.
Yelich has doubled twice. In this day and age of extreme shifts, especially for lefty bats, it's always fun to look up and see what the defense does for Yelich, because there's really no way you can play him. I mean, the outfield is off the line and right. You can see Borges in right. A few steps into left center is Herrera, but the infield is really straight up. Yelich pulls it and pulls it hard to Joseph. Wow. Miami leaves them loaded, and the lead is still 3, 5-2 to the bottom of the 8th. The presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. Philadelphia all lit up. 5-2 Miami, bottom 8.
And where are we? Somewhere over there.
Miguel Rojas goes from first to second. Chris Johnson from the bench to first. Johnson's in the 5 spot. And David Phelps does arrive. Phelps, 21st appearance. He has been used, and he has been very effective.
Oh, wow. Look at those numbers. Last appearance yesterday down to D.C. Struck out the side in his inning. Very impressive.
He gets Galvis, Goodell, and then the 8th spot in the order for the Phillies. Galvis singled in the 4th. The Phillies have had opportunities, but they've not been able to bunch their hits, and they've had just 1 extra base hit along with 8 singles. Two and 0. Remember, in Miami, this was the troublesome inning for the Marlins bullpen. Twice the Phillies came back and erased 8th inning leads to win games. Phelps gets a strike. It's 2-1. David out of St. Louis. A Notre Damer. Count even at 2-2. Marlins are hopeful that in a couple of weeks they will get a couple of veteran bullpen arms off the disabled list. Don Mattingly should have Edwin Jackson here in a week and a half, and Mike Dunn in a couple of weeks as well. That's a gorgeous pitch That fastball that he starts on the hip of the left-handed batter. It tails out and catches the plate.
I mean, I think watching that's a two-seam patented pitch that you've seen often for right-handed pitchers going in on the lefty. You know, I look at David Phelps, Rich, and you know, here was a guy that started, was a good long and middle, and now has settled in nicely as a setup to A.J. Ramos, and not throwing 95 to 100 miles an hour. I mean, his fastball's good. It's been right around 92, 93. And I see him as a guy that, I mean, he could start. He's got 4 pitches. Fastball, slider, change. Just saw a curveball there.
See the strikeouts that he's compiled. And that is what makes, I think, both Phelps and the man behind him unique in this game, is that they are pitchers. Miami's, and he'll dial it up when he needs it, but Miami's 8th and 9th inning is Phelps, who's got 4 pitches, and A.J. Ramos, who's got 4 pitches. And Ramos certainly isn't what you would consider a power pitcher.
Well, his average fastball, Ramos, right at 91, 92 miles an hour.
Bouncer to short. That's Echeverria. Chris Johnson off the bench has got to make a backhanded pick, and he does. And the Marlins have finally retired Tyler Goodell. He's 3 for 4 now.
Yeah, nice pick right there by Chris Johnson.
David Lowe will pinch hit for the Phillies.
You know, the depth, first of all, to have a good bullpen, you got to have depth. You have to have more than 2, 3 go-to guys. You mentioned Mike Dunn. I mean, he will come back healthy and be a real valuable piece. And Edwin Jackson, as you said, you know, veteran guy that's been around a long time.
And had a terrific year out of the bullpen for the Cubs and the Braves last year.
You know, to continue to lean on, well, in this case, David Phelps, you just at some point, you know, 20 appearances, this is 21st appearance. You know, there's fatigue, and then what happens? Fatigue, your legs go, your arm angle changes, and you know, just it's like a domino effect. Keep them fresh.
To right, Stanton is there, and Phelps works a neat and tidy 1, 2, 3, 8 to the 9th in Philly. 5-2. Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. William Penn looking down on Philadelphia proper. Now you saw that in the vet and here at Citizens Bank Park, didn't you? That bell.
It's the same bell?
Boy, I'm not sure. Same bell or a reasonable facsimile?
Looks like the same bell.
Yes. You can actually get a model of that bell in the gift store of the Hyatt, which is about 10 miles from here. Here is Stanton, and he takes the strike. Giancarlo Stanton for the Fish in the ninth. An 0 for 3. But the Marlins have had production in front of him and behind him. Did Stanton hit? No, he wouldn't. He'd be on first base. He is on first base. He did hit the glove of Ruiz with the swing. Watch the glove and the bat. Oh, that can't feel good. That's catcher's interference.
Just whacked the back of his glove.
Yeah, that's when a catcher reaches.
Yep.
And a hitter like Stanton is at the very back of the box. That's what you get. And you know the Phillies are already banged up behind the plate. We talked about Cameron Rupp and the collision against the Reds. And Ruiz doesn't look all that comfortable behind the plate right now. Stanton is aboard. Chris Johnson gets his first at bat. So David Hernandez on the mound for the Phils. See Johnson's numbers. Johnson swings and misses. If you are wondering about the scoring on that, it goes as an error on the catcher, but no at bat for Stanton.
E2 catcher's interference.
E2 catcher's interference. And Johnson swings and misses. Make sure. Oh wow! How can I read this with a straight face, right? Because you're going to make an appearance in this video. All-Star Saturdays, Kevin Brown bobblehead.
Hey,
there you are, Outlider. Rocking the old school teal. There's Gary Sheffield. Moisés Alou. Kevin Brown bobblehead. All you can eat seats as well. That's coming up on a Super Heroes Saturday night.
World Series champs that year.
World Series champs that year. Now, so Brown with a no-hitter. You had a no-hitter right before then, correct?
The year before.
The year before.
Yeah.
All right.
How about it? What are they up to? About 5 or 6, 7?
5. Adam Conley was flirting with that start in Milwaukee with his 6th. He had 2 outs in the 8th inning.
How about that? What, the Padres are still waiting for their first.
Padres are the only team, I believe,
and
waiting.
The Mets finally, after almost 50 years? And the Marlins have 5.
Yeah, here's the odd thing, though. The Marlins have never hit for the cycle. How about that? Cycles and no-hitters are similar in terms of rarity.
Yeah.
But Marlins have never had a cycle, which is, to me, crazy because they played in that football stadium and at Marlins Park in a ballpark that's conducive to triples, which is the toughest thing to get.
You're right. Go figure.
Go figure. No one can figure out this breaking ball from Hernandez. He struck out Johnson, and he strikes out Ozuna.
Ramos getting ready.
There's Real Muto.
The 20 strikeouts, right? Max Scherzer was asked, would you rather throw no-hitter to the 20 strikeouts? And he said 20 strikeouts just because of the rarity of it.
Well, Kerry Wood.
Nolan. Or not Nolan. Roger Clemens.
Roger Clemens twice.
And Randy Johnson.
No, but Randy Johnson's was in extra innings, I believe.
Oh.
I think the only 9-inning ones were the Kerry Wood one, the 2 Roger Clemens, and Scherzer's. Now, Ed Svita is our baseball historian and is fact-checking right as we speak.
Is impeccable.
Breaking ball misses down low. We were talking about economy of pitches the other day, and the number that just still baffles me and amazes me in the Scherzer game, 8 of his strikeouts were 3-pitch at bats. I mean, that's how you strike out 20 and throw just 119 pitches and give up 2 solo homers.
And I think he had either 3 or 4 outs that he had 2 strikes. Ended up being a fly out or a ground out.
The strike to Real Muto, and the count's 2-2. And Ed has confirmed that both of Clemens and Kerry Woods were 9-inning games. Randy Johnson, and another name from the past that I don't have on the tip of my tongue, struck out 20 in extra innings. Pitches down low.
Sam McDowell?
No, I think it's from the dead ball era. Oh no, it's Tom Cheney.
Oh yeah,
From
Tom Cheney.
1962. He was a Washington Senator. In 16 innings, 16 innings, he struck out 21. Johnson struck out 20, and we're going to have to research that ball
10
game.
innings.
That one is up. Aha. Johnson actually went 9. The game wasn't over. BK Kim came in and relieved him after 9. So Johnson did go just 9 innings and get the 20 strikeouts. So this is like CSI strikeouts.
No, it's really confusing for me.
Yes. Echeverria swings and misses.
Oh, because the game went into extra innings.
Right.
Yeah.
Our good friend BK Kim, former Marlin reliever.
Yes.
BK Kim, one of the great serial nappers of all time. Could nap anywhere. Laundry cart, locker,
Just
bus, just out, just napping.
equal. So when people just fall asleep.
No, it's not. No, he was not narcoleptic.
Narcoleptic, yeah.
No. Counts 0-2. Stanton at second. Real Muto at first, and Echeverria fouls it back to the screen. Adeiny Echeverria tonight, 3 hits, 3 for 4. And remember, his out was a line drive out to right, and we showed you his numbers in this ballpark. Very, very good. And this is just the first of 10 games here for the Fish this year. So maybe that's what Echeverria needs to get himself jump started. 0-2. Shoots it on to second. Hernandez to first. AJ Ramos with a 3-run lead to protect in the 9th.
Philadelphia as the Marlins look to close it out. Be sure to keep it here for our Marlins Live postgame show presented by Checkers. I will be hosting live from the field. We'll take a look at Marcell Ozuna as he continues his hit streak in the National League. Adeiny Hechavarria warming up at the plate. That's 5 hits for Etch in his last 2 games. We'll also check in with the clubhouse and get the thoughts of Don Mattingly on tonight's game. That is all coming up on our Marlins Live postgame show presented by Checkers. Guys.
All right, Jessica, thank you. Don Mattingly and the Fish trying to win the first of 3 here and push their record to 4 over. Remember, we started the night by telling you there's 4 teams within 2.5 games in the top-heavy National League East, with the Marlins 4th to start this 3-game set, the Phillies 2nd, the Nationals 1st, the Mets 3rd. Now the Nationals and the Mets open a series in D.C. tomorrow. And you see the Marlins a chance to go to 21-17 and gain ground on everybody in a full game on these Phillies.
Well, right now that's the toughest division record-wise. Everybody bunched up outside of Atlanta.
Andres Blanco, who had 2 enormous hits, and Ramos comes in and clips him. Blanco had 2 enormous hits in Miami, both doubles, both in the 8th inning of the Phillies' wins. And obviously that's not what Ramos wanted to do. It looks like he yanked a breaking ball.
Yeah, first pitch slider. Yeah,
it's not the what he had in mind with the term back leg breaking ball. That's where he got him. All right, here is Odubel Herrera. 2 for 4, bunt single in the 5th, a single to the 7th. You've got Hernandez, Franco after Herrera, and a breaking ball for a strike. Now, the one thing about Ramos that you'll see in the course of a save or an appearance is if one pitch isn't working, he's got 3 others he can go to. His curveball probably his 4th pitch. And a fastball misses in. Keep in mind, it is a 3-run game, and Ryan Howard did not start and has not hit yet. And say what you want about Ryan Howard and his age and all of that, but he's hit 8 home runs already this year. Though it doesn't look like he's heating up, does it?
No.
Line drive, base hit. Herrera has another hit. Ozuna picks it up. And this does not look like it's going to be an easy ride for A.J. Ramos.
Boy, so impressed with Herrera here. A curveball after a high fastball down the zone. Doesn't try to do a whole lot, stays with it. You got double play depth up the middle. Miguel Rojas pinching. No shot at getting it. Yeah, the Phillies got a little something brewing here.
For a guy that has walked 29 times, Herrera sure is a very good bad ball hitter. He showed that at Marlins Park a few times. Here is Hernandez now. In the air, right center, Ozuna and Stanton. Ozuna around it, makes the catch. Both runners tag. Ozuna's throw is to second. That keeps the double play in order. Herrera stays at first. And it pushes Blanco to third.
I liked how Ozuna got behind that baseball, making sure that the double play was still in order, as you said, Rich. Strong throw back in.
See double play ground balls. Franco has hit into his share. This just in, Ryan Howard has a helmet on and a bat. Breaking ball, left field, deep. Ozuna, track, makes the catch. My goodness. A run scores. There's 2 outs. If Franco pulls that ball a little more, it's got a chance to be up in the seats, and this game would have been tied.
Wow, that's a curveball that stays inside, and I think because of that, he didn't quite get the barrel on it. Cal Franco's got some power in his, look right here, Rich, right in front of that little indent.
Here is Carlos Ruiz. And Ruiz calls time. Ryan Howard is on deck. He has good career pinch hitting numbers. Ramos would like to finish before he gets a shot. Herrera will take second. The Marlins will concede the base. (5-3), bottom 9. Ramos against Ruiz. Again, Ruiz has hit 3 homers this year. Pulls that one foul. Not a ton of at bats either. (63 of them. Oh, 0-2, 2 outs. Bottom 9. And it's 1-2. A.J. Ramos, who saved yesterday's ball game. (1-2).
And with curveball the previous pitch and the slider there off the plate, just overthrew it, hooked it. Want to go after him here, not wanting to go to 3-2 count.
Got him with a breaking ball. A.J. Ramos strikes out Carlos Ruiz. And the Marlins win the ball game 5-3. Marcell Ozuna and Justin Bour go deep. Well, Adam Conley was terrific.
Yeah, big curveball right here. Just locked him up after slider away. Good pitch.
21 consecutive saves going back to last season for A.J. Ramos. His 12th on the year. And for Don Mattingly and the Fish, a nice one to get to open up this 3-game series. Miami's won 3 in a row and are now 4 over as they beat the Phils. Marlins Live postgame is coming up.